class, Miss Groves here, and today we're going to be reviewing over our Unit 2 goals. We've already started Unit 2 in class, but we're going to be reviewing over some of the things that we've been working on. So Unit 2 is about reading informational books or nonfiction books. So parents, as your child is bringing home these informational books, we want to make sure that they are successful as they are reading. So there are a couple of strategies that we want to take home with you so that you can use them. One of those strategies is chunking, which is sounding out part of the word and then taking those parts and putting them all back together again and sounding out the whole word. Another strategy is changing the vowel sound. So if there is an A and it says ah, maybe we need to try the long sound, A. And that's true with any other vowel. Another strategy is cross-checking. And that is after we read a word, we want to make sure that it sounds right, looks right, and makes sense. And when we check all those things, if it still doesn't make sense, we need to go back and try a different strategy and check it again. So parents, if your child is struggling with a word, we want to make sure that we help them so that they're not frustrated. And you can help them sound out that word and find the parts of the word and understand what it means. Again, our goal with our informational books is to make sure our students are successful in learning about different things through reading. So let's look at some of our goals with Unit 2. I can tell what the text is about, which is our main idea or main topic. Our next goal is I can tell what I learned from the text. Those are our key details or our facts about the main idea. So let's practice today with Steve's Washington, D.C. experience, inspired by Mr. Groves. Going to Washington, D.C. Steve went to Washington, D.C. for a class trip. Let's take a look at all the places he visited. Students, so far we know we can do one of our goals. Our first goal was I can tell what the story is mostly about. Can you tell what the story is mostly about? The author has given us a lot of clues about what they want to teach us in this story. Let's find that main idea and what the story is mostly about, and let's stick it in our head so that we can come back to it later. Let's keep going. Lincoln Memorial. This is the Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln was the 16th president. He helped free the slaves in America. So class, now we know a key detail or a fact that we've learned about Washington, D.C. We know something about the Lincoln Memorial. Let's think about that thing that we know and let's stick it in our head, and we're going to keep reading to see if we can find out more. White House. This is the White House. It was opened in 1800. The President of the United States lives here. I just learned 2 key details about the White House, but I'm going to keep one so I can put it in my head. So I'm going to go ahead and take that key detail or fact, put it in my head, and I'm going to keep reading. The Capitol Building. This is the Capitol Building. The United States government works here. All right, class, now we know another great key detail about the Capitol Building. Let's think about that one, and let's put it in our head, and we're going to keep reading. Steve had fun in Washington, D.C. He visited lots of fascinating buildings. All right, class, we have read our story, and we are going back to think about I can tell what the text is about, my main idea. I learned that in the beginning of my story. And I can tell what I learned from the text using key details. So now that we've read the story and we've thought about the main idea and we've thought about the key details because they're in our head, we are going to keep going. And our other standard with this unit is I can write about a real topic, including facts. So let's practice that. Let's go back to our main idea because we want to make sure we have that right first. We know we have a clue in our title. And we have lots of clues in the first part of our story. We know that they are going to Washington, D.C. We know that Steve went to Washington, D.C. for a class trip. So we have Washington, D.C. right here. So I know that I'm going to write for my main topic, Washington, D.C. Now I need to find my key details. So I'm going to turn my page. And my first key detail is about the Lincoln Memorial. So I had a couple of key details here that I could choose. I wanted to remember that Lincoln was the 16th president. So for my writing, now that I have my main idea, I am going to write that Lincoln was the 16th president. Now I'm going to go to my next key detail. So it was on the Lincoln Memorial. Now I'm going to turn my page, and I've learned about the White House. So when I go back and I reread about my White House, I know that I have a key detail that I stuck in my head. So I'm going to go back to that. I know that the White House was opened in 1800. So I'm going to add that to my writing. The White House was opened in 1800. And now for my last key detail. I learned about the White House, so I'm going to turn my page. And now I'm learning about the Capitol building. And the key detail that I put in my head about that one was that the United States government works here. So to put that in my own words, I'm going to say that the United States government works in the Capitol building. So now I have my writing about the facts of my main idea. My main idea is Washington, D.C. My key details are Lincoln was the 16th president. The White House was opened in 1800. The United States government works in the Capitol building. So now that I've started my writing and I have my facts, I think there's some ways that I can make this writing more interesting. So class, next what we're going to do is work on ways to make this writing more interesting. And parents, with your student at home, you can think of some ways to make this more interesting as well, or add some more details to the writing. Y'all have done an awesome job, and we are going to keep reading and keep learning about informational books and informational writings. Keep it up, class.